welcome to Black Tea. My name is Michelle Lawrence. I'm your host, and I am so excited to be here today with Malika Jones. What's up, girl? Tell the people what you do and where you're based.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm a copywriter. I'm working at Cashmere Agency, and I'm on a lot of brands, a lot of different clients. But some of the biggest ones have been Facebook, Google, Adidas, Tommy Hilfiger, Honda, all of that.
Essentially, resume. You've been out here killing it. Everybody knows that. I want to talk a little bit about advertising while Black woman. So what would you say to encourage a young Black woman in advertising or looking to get into advertising who's struggling with that imposter syndrome? Or even what advice would you give to your pre-advertising self on the matter?
Yeah, I mean, toss it out. You feel like you got imposter syndrome, you know, I think you got to just jump right in, and you can't get in your head. And I definitely felt that when I was younger, you know, wanting everything to be perfect. I think, you know, as creators in general, you want everything to be like you have a high standard because you see creativity, you appreciate it. And so then you set that for yourself as if you have to achieve a perfect standard before you can do anything. And I think you gotta throw that out the window, you know, just get in there. You know, there's already too many barriers to be, you know, holding yourself back.
Absolutely. And then, so how do you feel that your unique POV as a Black woman has influenced the way you show up for your work, for creative, and especially in a predominantly white industry?
I feel like it makes me open. I feel like as a Black woman, you know, you're already open to other people's perspectives. You're already seeing the world a little bit differently. You appreciate culture. You appreciate people's human truth. You have empathy and understanding because you've been through so much yourself. That I think it makes it so that I'm able to look at the community within the industry and kind of see, you know, where everyone's strengths are and value that, and that I can bring a perspective of the world that, you know, the stories that haven't been told yet or are unheard or haven't been represented to the table.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like Black women, we have a lot of practice in empathy because we are so often put in a position to where we are having to look into other people's POVs and often prioritize other people's, you know, feelings and comfort over our own. I think it crafts us into empathetic people, and that really informs the way that we work as well. But, you know, balancing that with looking out for you and showing up is something that I think we all are learning, you know, to every day kind of conquer. Especially with that imposter syndrome. But I like what you said, just toss it out. You don't need that. You don't need that. I am so on board for that. So let's talk a little bit about hopes and dreams. What is your biggest hope for the future of advertising and for the future of creativity?
I hope it gets more human. You know, I think right now we're seeing a lot of change happening as far as representation. There's value in having the Black voice. There's value in having multicultural representation. But I hope that, you know, advertising, marketing, entertainment in general, they don't just stop there, that they take it on as a skill set, that it's not just about having Black people at the table, but really that everybody, you know, within the industry really values and looks at communicating to unique audiences and individual audiences and individual people, you know, as a skill set, as something to become an expert at. You know, it's not just about conduct and culture and comfort in a workspace. It's about truly valuing the need to be able to communicate to your audience in an honest, authentic way.
That's real. Wow. So what is one of your career dreams or ambitions that has not yet been realized? What are you working towards?
Man, I think I just want to do it bigger. You know, everything that I'm doing, you know, I've been blessed to have some great opportunities. I've been very proud of my work recently, but I just want to go bigger. You know, I want to talk about culture and talk to, you know, the Black communities that aren't even just in America. Like, I want to go global. I want to, you know, represent global brands. I think that would be my next biggest step.
Yeah, she got that ambition, baby. Look at his eyes. I miss the old Kanye. So I want to talk a little bit about inspiration. What are your favorite sounds right now? It could be music, podcasts, meditations, TD Jake's sermon. What's giving you life from an audio perspective?
Man, it's actually been a lot of meditation. With the quarantine, with being on Zoom constantly, you know, all these different projects and stuff, I think, you know, and also like the news, like just everything going on in the world, it's just been silence and peace has been the sound that I've really been leaning towards. Also just the opportunity to kind of hear my thoughts and really sort them out as far as what my ambitions are, as far as what my creative ideation is, because it's been, you know, we're working on so many things. You know, I got a son, so I'm homeschooling. You know, you're trying to keep up with everything, and at a certain point, you know, I realized like I have these ideas that are just mine. You know, they're not for work, they're not for, you know, all these other responsibilities. They're just like my creativity that's in my head that I haven't really taken the time to write them down and turn them into something. So I've really been enjoying taking that space.
That's amazing. I feel like a lot of people would feel the opposite during this time of quarantine, feel like they're too alone with their thoughts and it's freaking them out and that they miss having a lot of input. It's been really interesting to hear that advertising folks, specifically creatives, have been busier during this time and fighting for more of their space during this time. So that's really cool. But like, that's a good reminder even for me. It's like, you know, when did I last tap into my creativity for my own sake? Because we give and we give out here, and it's like creativity needs to be fed the same way that, you know, our bodies do. So that's tea, girl. I appreciate that. I'm gonna take that to be my own personal church this week. What contribution or piece of creative work are you most proud of, and why?
It's got to be a project that I did that was pretty independent, but was with support of an agency that I was at the time, Team One, and it was called Crenshaw Core. And basically, the agency gave us a chance to pitch any idea that we wanted. You know, you could win the budget. You have a small team. You could use your resources and make it happen. And at the time, while still, you know, South L.A. is facing a lot of gentrification. And specifically in Leimert Park, it was just a community that I really loved and enjoyed because it has so many roots in, you know, Black creative history, specifically in Los Angeles. And because of facing gentrification, because of construction and Metro, a lot of these, you know, mom and pop shops that are Black owned were basically, you know, going out of business because no one could get to them. Due to construction, and, you know, the gentrification was just like having a huge contrast on their ability to be successful. So this project was able to really sorry, I'm being long-winded, but this project, we were able to actually create a small business accelerator for all those businesses down there. So it was 42 businesses that we worked with, and we basically looked at whatever problem they had, like if it was their storefront needed to be revived, or they didn't have any e-commerce to help sell, you know, their products, we would work with that and, you know, give them tools that they needed to help, you know, kind of just give them a little bit more of a push to get through the next year of, you know, of obstacles.
You actually sewed into a community. We don't get the opportunity to do that a lot with what we do. So that is absolutely incredible. And 42 businesses, that's
Yeah, it was humbling and it was inspiring too, because I mean, each one of those business owners had their own, you know, like their creatives. They, you know, saw and realized their dreams, and you know, they just needed a little bit of help here and there to figure out how to navigate it to get through these obstacles. And from a big agency, it's like we have those resources, so why not? You know, it's that easy.
That's incredible. How do you wish that this industry, our advertising industry, would step up more for mothers, specifically Black mothers?
That's a good one. That's real. I didn't think about it so much until quarantine. You know, I really felt that as a mother, you know, and, you know, not just in my own experience, but also the experience of those, you know, other mothers that I see around, and active fathers. You know, I don't really feel like there's a lot of support for us, you know, this past year. Generally, it's just like, you know, having families is separate from work. You know, work is 24/7, always be on call. And even in cases where I think, you know, your mentors and your leaders are very supportive and loving of your family, there's still things like benefits. There's just things that aren't always that logical when it comes to, you know, understanding what it's like to be, you know, a parent and a mother, you know, and I think that can be very challenging. So for the industry, I think it's really understanding that value, because again, you know, mothers also have a very specific insight. You know, like I think once you become a mother, you become, you know, a very, very strong problem solver. You know, so there's an asset to having mothers, but you should make it more, you should make it easier for them to be a mother, you know, and not feel like they can't be a good mother in order to be a great creative. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, being a great creative means that they have to be, you know, an absent mother. I think they can happen at the same time.
Absolutely. And that speaks to what you were saying before about advertising needing to be more human, period. Mm-hmm. Because it's really our connection to humanity that makes us good, that gives us the ability to tap into, you know, what people are thinking and feeling in order to sell them shit. So it's like that it would be in their best interest, right? To sow into our lives and protect people in that way. So that's real. And, you know, advertising execs, if you're listening, get your shit together. So if you had to work in another department in advertising besides your own, what would it be and why?
Strategy.
Okay.
Strategy, yeah.
She's sure.
Yeah, I mean, I love strategy. I have all the research. They have the tools. So, you know, as a creative, you know, that's my favorite department, because that's who we work with, you know, to really kind of back up our ideas and fuel our ideas. So yeah, I would love to be part of strategy. Right now I look at them like, wow, how do you keep all that insight in your head? How are you doing, you know, from the data quantitative, you know, analysis strategist to the cultural strategist. You know, I'm always fascinated with how much they know, you know, and how much they learn so quickly, and how they keep up with everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm. I remember I went to grad school instead of portfolio school, and I remember my strategy class and how extremely difficult it was and how stressful the research was. And, you know, I have renewed respect for them after that. It's like, you know what, y'all are really doing stuff, and it makes me tired to try to do those things. So I'm glad that you're here to do them. I want to give you an opportunity to sort of talk your shit and brag on yourself. You know, we talked a little bit about the challenges that Black women face in this industry, but also I want to talk about how we crush it in spite of, you know, so not to sound like a dude, we crush it, but we crush it. We've been really, we prosper, you know, we get that stuff done. So why would underestimating you be a serious mistake?
I mean, because like you just said, I mean, we get shit done. I get shit done. I I don't look at what I do in a silo. You know, any project I take on, if I take on a brand, I look at the entire brand, not just a campaign and this particular brief. I look, you know, for their entire success, like for their entire reputation. The same, if I'm working at an agency, the same thing. Like I look at it holistically. My success is all my peers' success. It's all my colleagues' success. It's everyone beneath me and above me, you know, as far as the hierarchy of power. I believe it's a united front when it comes to, you know, my goals. So I don't see myself in a silo that way. So because of that, you know, I'm a very loyal, you know, creative. You know, I bring ideas to the table that benefits the entire scope. You know, I don't want an idea that's going to be, you know, just checking off the box. I want it to win awards. I want it to sell. You know, I want it to, you know, be authentic. I want it to be, you know, positive. I want it to be beneficial to the audience that's taking it in. So having that perspective and that goal, and I mean, like literally, that's my goal on every single thing that I do. That's an opportunity for anyone that is looking for good work.
That's right. Pay attention. Malika Jones, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for doing this episode of Black Tea. You're phenomenal. You know, I've enjoyed our time together, working, playing, having a ball, and then it's always just such a pleasure to be able to pick your brain. You are such an asset to this industry. And, you know, the industry just needs to keep up with your dopeness. So thank you so much for being a guest here on Black Tea.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And that's our show. Thank you so much for watching. Please head over to musebycleo.com/blacktea to find some more episodes.